All right, good evening, everybody. It is the last call of sports with Joe Ryan on the 10th of March. As we get ready, we're heading into March Madness this week. Got a lot of that going on. We have the Islanders coming from behind for a 4-3 victory, another overtime win for them tonight. So far, the WBC, it looks like last time I checked, it was the Americans behind Italy 3-0. Still early there. I'll give my views on that in a little while. But anyways, get into sports tonight with you guys. Oh, 5-0 Italy. Not looking too good for United States and all the flag wavers there. And like I said, I'll get to that in a little while. But right now, I want to start off with kind of a controversial type thing for me. Anybody who knows me growing up was a big time Notre Dame fan, especially into my teenage years, my preschool, whatever. I was born an Irish Catholic, raised by an Irish Catholic father who loved Notre Dame. There's two things he loved in his life more than his family, or as much as his family, I'd like to say, is Boston Red Sox baseball and Notre Dame football. So I grew up raking leaves, listening on a transistor radio with my father to Notre Dame football broadcasts and the Ara Parseghian era, and boom, 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 we'll go down the line. And last week, Lou Holtz passed away. And, I got to say that Lou Holtz was not my favorite Notre Dame coach. He came along when Notre Dame really needed him, though. Notre Dame had just, fallen through the Jerry Faust era. A nice guy, Jerry Faust, a very successful high school coach out of Moeller High in Cincinnati, Ohio, who produced a lot of guys who went to Notre Dame to become stars. And the people at Notre Dame thought, especially at that time, they were coming off a run where Ara Parseghian had gone to Dan Devine. They had won multiple national championships under Parseghian and one under Devine. They had just, graduated Joe Montana. And it looked like, that it was Notre Dame at its best or its high points. Maybe not as much as Rockne, maybe not as much as Leahy, but through Parseghian and through Devine, they were, again, a national powerhouse. And they just thought they could plug anybody in and it would work. And you know what? It didn't. Jerry Faust was outdone. He was not prepared to take on the Joe Paternos, the Jimmy Johnsons, the Bo Schembechlers, those type of coaches. He just didn't have that type of coaching acumen. But Lou Holtz came along, and Lou Holtz walked in there, and within a year, he had Notre Dame back competing. But there was also something always strange about Lou Holtz. I always talk about the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with Danny DeVito and that crew, and how I laughed hysterically at all their jokes and all their craziness on the screen. But after watching every show, I felt like I should take a shower. Lou Holtz kind of gave me that feeling when it came to rooting for him, because there was something behind the facade of his wittiness, of his winning, of his saying the right things. He was one of those guys that was gifted with the ability to control the media, control the dynamic of the media, the what the media was going to be saying about him, and always come out looking good, even though you felt there was something strange about it. I mean, it's well known that when he tried to go to the pros with the Jets, he failed, didn't even make it through a full year. But I mean, to be 33-12 at North Carolina State and then 60-21 at Arkansas, Minnesota not so good, 10-12, and I'm going. Minnesota was the place where there started to be some controversy around, although it's never been proven to be that bad. They were investigated. Notre Dame 130-2. Now, included in that is what, 4 years with double figures, including one national championship. Um, Hard to dispute what he did there. And then he went on to South Carolina, where he started out 0 and 11, ended up 33 and 37 for an overall 249, 132 and 7 record. Um, I mean, you can't dispute that's a damn good record. But his best years were at Arkansas, and when he first came on my map at Arkansas is when he won the Orange Bowl against Oklahoma, upsetting Barry Switzer 30 to 6, and he suspended like 4 of his players the night before the game for some kind of a violation, and went on to destroy an Oklahoma team. And then, like I said, he came to Notre Dame, and within 2 years, they had won a national championship. That's pretty damn good. 12 and 0. 12 and 0, winning a national championship within 2 years, taking over a program that was totally, totally floundering. But like I said, there was always something about him that made you feel there's something more going on here. Um, I'm not going to get into his political views, but things like he never could seem to beat Penn State when he was at Notre Dame, so they dropped Penn State. He only beat Miami, I think, once against Jimmy Johnson, and they dropped Miami. You know, Notre Dame was always known as the team who wants to take on the best, to have the team bring their best and take on the best. I know during, growing up, I used to get so frustrated when USC gave Notre Dame problems under, you know, John Robinson and John McKay. Notre Dame didn't win every year, but they never dropped USC off their schedule because they couldn't win. And when Lou Holtz dropped those guys, it bothered me. It made me feel like he was taking the chicken shit way out instead of hanging in there and teaching their team how to win against these teams. Um, I always felt he retreated, and that bothered me. And the other thing is, Notre Dame, it never became a big deal. But Notre Dame was investigated at the end of his stay with Notre Dame. Notre Dame was investigated for violations. Now, they never came out and said Notre Dame did anything particularly wrong. What they did say about him was that he didn't have enough control on the program, something like that. That there was some internal problems. Let's see if I can look it up and find out exactly what they said about him. But let's see, Notre Dame. Give me a minute here. Tonight, rumor to it. Okay, before leaving no following, where does it say that Holtz's efforts were inadequate? And then when Joe Paterno fell under the bus for the Sandusky struggle, he piled on Joe Paterno, who's, let's face facts, Joe Paterno, if there was anything he was really guilty of, that his policing of that program was not adequate. Now, the comparison of whatever was going on with Lou Holtz to whatever was to what was happening at Penn State, no comparison. When children are being abused, that's the worst thing that can happen. So I'm not comparing that. But you would have thought a man who had felt the sting of being told that he's not policing his team properly would have maybe not come down so hard on Joe Paterno as I remember him. But as I said, I'm not going to jump and spit on the grave of a man who actually did a good job for Notre Dame. 100 victories, put them back on the map, left them kind of in a mess. And, they're back now under Marcus Freeman, finally, back up to where they should be. And to Lou Holtz, I thank you for your services while at Notre Dame. But in the long run, I'll always have that doubt in the back of my mind as to really how good you were for the South Bend faithful. And now, let's see, it's 5-0 Italy over United States. 5-0 in the middle of, or going to the sixth inning. Yeah, a lot of my friends are giving me flack about this because I'm not a WBC guy. I think it's a ridiculous thing. It's a shame that it's happening right now at a time when we're just coming off the Olympic hockey team's victories, the women and the men. How great it was for American pride, for us to win on an international stage, and like I said, bring pride back to the country. And a lot of people are trying to flag wave about this, and to me, this is just a bogus, invented tournament. There's no tradition to it. It's about selling T-shirts. It's about selling, game shirts. It's about because it's spring training baseball. No one watches. They're trying to get ratings, and it really means nothing. When you think about it, the United States has 22 All-Stars on its roster. They're kind of set up to fail because if you win, you should win. If you don't, you're a failure. And the other thing about it is, it's kind of like, when we celebrate the victories, like the one in hockey, in 1980, the Russians were supposed to kill the United States. And this year, Canada had the three best players in hockey on their side, and the Americans still won. We're Goliath. We're the Russians. We're not the lovable underdogs in this series. There was a story the other night, I think it was in Slovenia or whatever, I forget where it was, where a guy who's a lifetime plumber got a standing ovation for pitching like 4 innings of shutout ball. We don't have that. We have Cy Young Award winners. We have All-Stars. We have MVP award winners. We have guys who should be MVP award winners. Cal Raleigh, Bobby Witt Jr., Skane, Skubal. Really, if we win, if the United States wins, it'll just be, okay, you won. Big deal. Except for the people who are just either so delusional or so desperate to, have sports that matter right now that they're tuning into this and trying to relate it to some patriotic dream. And I'm sorry, I just don't get it out of this. If they lose tonight, it'll be their second loss. I don't know. I've never really studied this, so I don't know if this puts them out of it altogether. In some ways, I got to say I'd laugh about that. It's tragic, but I'd laugh about that. But we will see if they can come back. And if they don't, well, they have nobody to blame but themselves. So as we get ready, the Big East tournament should be starting tomorrow. We have the tournament time. We will have selection show on Sunday. I'm going to try and I'm going to try and be more religious in getting this out to you guys every night. I want to build this show. You can send me a comment if you think there's things I should be doing. And for all you people who are rooting for the WBC, hang in there. You still got 4 innings left. Not looking good, but you still got 4 innings left. This is Joe Ryan. Have a good night. Talk to you tomorrow.